Top 10 Con Games That Will Blow Your Mind. Have you ever heard the phrase, "If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn"? It was used to expose people's naivety and gullibility. Well, perhaps you didn't know that the phrase comes from an actual scam game that was run by a long line of con artists who began selling the bridge almost as soon as it was completed in 1883 to suckers who thought they'd got the ultimate deal. Yes, as far back as anyone can remember, people have been playing games and scamming people out of their money. So as a service to you and to make sure you don't get duped out of your money, here are the top 10 con games that will blow your mind. Before we continue, use that gray matter and hit the like button and subscribe to Big Brain Money. Number 10. The Baker Estate Scam. The scam took place for over 70 years before it was finally ended in 1936. 28 different swindlers all used the same exact tactic, convincing people all across the United States that a wealthy man named Jacob Baker of Philadelphia had passed away and had left his estate behind with no heirs at all. The opportunistic fraudsters would contact anyone named Baker, saying that they were the representative of the state and that they would stake a claim to the property in exchange for a small fee. Around 3,000 people avariciously handed over their money through the mail, in an amount that was nearly $3 million by the end of the run. Be aware of anyone who randomly offers you something in exchange for a fee. Number 9. Charles Ponzi and the Ponzi Scheme. Also known as a pyramid scheme, this deceitful practice was created by a man named Charles Ponzi, who first arrived in Boston from Italy in the early 1900s with barely anything to his name. He hustled around and ended up in jail for 5 years as a result. But in 1920, he discovered arbitrage in international postal reply coupons worth 5 cents each. He recruited people from poor economies in Europe to send him postage coupons, which he sold for a profit. But he wanted to recruit regular people, so he would promise them 50% to 100% returns on their investment. Thousands of people trusted him with their money, and he used the cash flow to pay off the old ones, and many reinvested their returns with him again. He eventually got caught after fleecing $20 million from investors and was deported back to Italy. So the next time someone asks you if you want to sell health milkshakes that you have to buy yourself, politely tell them, "Va fa Napoli." Number 8. Fake tax. These happen all the time, so be sure to educate yourself. In essence, the perpetrators will pose as government tax collection agents and use extreme threats to prey on their victims. Think about reading a letter and it says the words "immediate arrest" on it, before judging the people who get taken for a ride by this game. People who are scared can be convinced to do so much more than when they're calm and considered. So it becomes quite easy to get people to send money to even wildly unconvincing destinations this way. If you don't think you can pay your taxes on time, always request for an extension, and then you'll know that any letters or calls about it are bogus. Number 7. The Invisible Car. In the 1970s, during the height of the gas crisis, Geraldine Elizabeth Carmichael created the 20th Century Motor Car Corporation and revealed the Dale, a car that was to be a way through the crisis. The futuristic-looking three-wheeler drew quick attention and brought in $30 million in investment money. However, soon this attracted the attention of concerned parties, and an investigation by car and driver revealed that, contrary to what had been advertised, there was in fact no research and development facility, no manufacturing plants, no plans for production whatsoever, and not even a prototype. So, like with a Ponzi scheme, remember, if someone ever comes up to you and asks you if you want to invest in something revolutionary, ask to see the concept and plans first. Number 6. Gone Phising. You probably hear this word a lot on the internet, but maybe you don't know what it means. So, here. Phishing is a catch-all term that's used to describe scammers that pretend to be trusted people, like a banker, a mortgage lender, or a service provider, like someone from your electricity company or similar. They attempt to trick people into sending their private information to them and then take all they have. If someone ever asks you for your card details, hang up the phone immediately and report the number. Number 5. Centennial Technologies. Back in 2000, Emmanuel Pinez got 5 years in prison and was ordered to pay back $150 million in restitution that investors lost to a scam by his company, Centennial Technologies Incorporated. The PC memory card company had been inflating its earnings to drive up investments, once even sending fruit baskets to people at Christmas time and reporting them as products sent to customers. Be careful and check companies thoroughly before you invest. Number 4. War Dogs. David Bacuse and Ephraim Diveroli were arms dealers in their 20s when they landed a huge $300 million contract to acquire over 100 million rounds of ammo and deliver it to American fighters in Afghanistan. The duo breached their contract by buying cheap Chinese-produced ammo and tried very hard to cover it up. The fact that you're listening to the story now that there's a movie about it shows that they didn't manage. Always be straight with your customers. Number 3. The Fyre Festival. You remember this one. Back in 2017, when an ultra-luxurious and expensive music festival was planned for industry elite types and VIPs. Through a combination of over-promising promoters, false advertising, and enough mistakes for a Laurel and Hardy movie, the guests instead ended up stuck in the Bahamas in horrible living conditions, with no supplies and only cold cheese sandwiches to eat. The creator of the event, Billy McFarland, was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison, and the details of this hilariously terrible chain of events have been made into a Netflix documentary, which you can watch to learn how to not get duped like they did. Number 2. The Wolf of Wall Street. You know this had to be on the list, right? Jordan Belfort might never have been found out for his scheme if he hadn't published it in his memoir, The Wolf of Wall Street, which of course is the foundation for the movie of the same name. Effectively, he stole more than $100 million as part of a massive drug and sex-fueled rampage of corporate theft. He did it by using a pump and dump scheme, involving him buying a lot of completely worthless stock and then convincing other investors that it was a stock that was about to take off. By convincing other people to buy into the trash stock, the prices were pumped higher and higher. And at the point where he felt like the buying pressure would fall off, he'd dump his shares for a massive profit. Number 1. Enron. These days, the word Enron embodies corporate greed, white-collar theft, and Wall Street liars. In one of the biggest scams in corporate history, the company inflated profits, concealed debt, and tricked regulators and investors, driving the stock up to over $90 a share before plummeting to just 26 cents. But how much did the unwitting shareholders lose? Why, over $74 billion. Again, be vigilant as an investor and only invest in what you believe will really happen. Well, there you go. 10 of the worst cons and scam games that have been perpetrated, and some lessons in avoiding the same fate. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, then smack that subscribe button if you haven't already. Then, be sure to use that gray matter and check out these other videos from Big Brain Money.